I chose this topic, and I'm still freaking surprised that it's wow. What's up, guys? It's Devin Harrington, the average Gen Xer, and welcome back to my channel, where today we are talking about the fairly new-ish concept of married single moms. I recently read an interesting, probably on Reddit, post where a woman was saying that if you are going to have a baby, whether your partner is a boyfriend or you're married or whatever it is, you should be prepared to be a single mom, whether the guy sticks around or not, because it's such a common story around the world where men just become the woman's, first child, and they think they're doing her a favor when they change a diaper or babysit their own children. It's really sad. I really thought that humanity had been dragged kicking and screaming into the 21st century a little bit more than this, but apparently this is a very common story that women have a partner, even are married, go to the big church wedding, do everything you're supposed to do, and then they have a kid or kids with the guy, and he can't be bothered to do anything. So many women say after they had the baby, he changed. It's really, really sad. Disclaimer, I am not saying all men. This is not a man-hating channel. I'm saying this loudly at the beginning of this video because I always get some dudes showing up here who didn't even listen to what I had to say and want to mansplain to me what I should think and feel. It's pretty funny. But disclaimer, I am not talking about all men. None of us are. None of the women on social media that make content on women choosing to remain single or to get divorced or to remain child-free. None of us are saying every single living man on planet Earth behaves in this egregious ways that we talk about. But that kind of goes without saying. You can't make a broad generalization that applies to everyone. But as I say on every video that I have been making on this content, there are enough women out there that have had the same experiences on different parts of the world in different cultures. And the fact that we have the internet now to tie us all together so we can read each other's stories, we're all finding out that we are all being treated the same. And that is why so many women have just decided to opt out. So today we're going to look at this Bored Panda post, and it's one woman's story about how frustrating and awful it is to be or to feel like a married single mom as well. So let's check them out. But first, as I do on every video on this channel, I take a second to encourage and beg and plead with all animal lovers out there. Please think about fostering or volunteering on site for your local animal shelter or rescue, because I guarantee you there is an organization near you that would love to have any amount of help you're willing to give. I am going Sunday to the Texas State Jail to meet some incarcerated veterans who are in the Enduring Service Program, which is a partnership with the Austin Animal Services. And I'm going to meet this handsome devil and see if he gets along with my boys. And if so, he will come home with us. So I'll let you know how it goes. So please consider doing your little part to help save the world. Do it for the animals. Thanks. Okay, so this article is actually from September 1st, 2022, and this topic has only gotten more and more attention since then. So this is by Oleg Tarasenko and Soleil Tolstich. I apologize if I did not pronounce that correctly. Overwhelmed mom takes a very short break from parenting. Husband ends up ruining it for her. This leads to a discussion about hurtful helping, also known as weaponized incompetence. Parenthood, and in particular motherhood, is a great joy, and many women say that holding a newborn child in their arms is such happiness that only a few things in the world can compare with, like holding a newborn puppy in your arms. On the other hand, or a newborn horse, they're super cute. On the other hand, it is also a great responsibility and, no less, great fatigue. After all, you cannot explain to a small child that a mother should also at least just rest. In today's world, the concept is increasingly spreading that both parents should equally devote time and energy to caring for a child. And many do. Many guys are really great parents and really great partners, but a lot of men, I mean, if you judged by how many posts there are on this topic, the majority of men are not so great. They go on. At least it looks completely fair. But in the age of so called default parenting, which is still the most common, alas, most of the burden falls on moms. And even if the father tries to help, sometimes he only does harm. Like for Rebecca Craig, for example, whose video went viral with over 2.3 million views and almost 400,000 likes on TikTok. No, Rebecca wasn't complaining. She was just describing what she usually calls hurtful helping and what that looks like. The original poster felt overwhelmed with caring for her 10-month-old baby and just wanted to take a small break. So, the son of Rebecca and her husband is 10 months old and, of course, requires constant care, like all babies. Reasonable enough. That's why it takes two people to make one, and it takes two people to keep it alive once it arrives. As a result, the mother has been feeling overwhelmed for a long time, and one day she decided to put the baby in his crib to give herself at least 10 minutes of rest and a snack. The OP's husband offered his help, but it really led to nothing good at all, and I'll read these quotes up here in a minute. Of course, the child immediately demanded parental attention, the only way available to him at this age, crying loudly. Rebecca's husband, who had stayed at home to help care for the baby, immediately came over and said that the boy was crying, as if she hadn't heard it herself. You are fucking joking. I chose this topic, and I'm still freaking surprised that it's... Wow. Wow. These quotes say, I got overwhelmed. I tried to do the right thing, and I put my 10-month-old in his crib, and I shut the door, and I came downstairs to eat my lunch. I figured I'll eat 5 or 2 minutes to myself. My husband came down after about 2 minutes and said, why is the baby crying? I needed a break. Mind you, the husband works from home. I wasn't about to go interrupt his work day. He goes, okay, I'm going to go get him. Okay. Not even 2 minutes after that, he comes back down holding the baby and tries to give it to me. Fucking idiot. The mom honestly admitted that she feels completely exhausted and wants to give herself at least 10 minutes to eat. The man offered his help, to which the wife, of course, gratefully accepted. However, less than 2 minutes had passed before her husband returned to Rebecca and handed her a crying baby, explaining that he could not calm him down and simply did not know how to do it. That's weaponized incompetence. If it doesn't come fucking naturally to soothe a crying baby, you got no business fathering children. God, this is so infuriating. You know, we used to think back in the 80s and 90s, like if we just had more information, if everybody could just carry a thing around where they could look up how to do anything, we'd be so much smarter and better off. Yeah, how'd that work out? The mom said this is exactly the thing she likes to call hurtful helping. In general, as Rebecca herself says, this is a classic example of what she likes to call hurtful helping, when it would seem that they want to help you out of good intentions, but because of their own incompetence, they make it even worse than it was before. After all, the mom was already psychologically tuned in to such a rare opportunity for herself to take a small break. God, I hate this woman's husband. He's such an idiot. And you know what? The sad part is, I bet a lot of women would say that he purposely, took the opportunity when he heard the baby crying he purposely went down there and said, "Hey, the baby's crying." And then he purposely just brought the baby to her to punish her for not having the baby, because there's some primal thing in men that they want to literally burden a woman with children, to literally hold her down. And that can be a factor. I'm not saying this guy did that, but that is a thing, and that's really sad. The OP's video sparked a massive discussion and several interesting video responses. Rebecca's video went viral and sparked a wave of discussion on TikTok. Resonant was, for example, this video's response from a nurse named Deborah, who called what happened to Rebecca and her husband default parenting syndrome, arguing that this was not even weaponized incompetence. Like, he's too dumb to have faked it. Oh, God. This is why I make this content, ladies. If you are on the fence about legally tying yourself to someone, to be married, to have his kid, anything you're on the fence about like that, please educate yourself. Don't just wing it. Talk to other women, because we're all talking now. We're Gen X women are talking about menopause out in public on social media in a way that women have never talked about in human history. Same thing with childbirth and the dangers of childbirth. And as we know, the cure for poverty is the education of women and girls. So talk to women, especially older women. If I say what I want to say, the way I want to say it, then the "that's why you're not married" brigade will come into my comments. There's women out there who die because of this. The default parent syndrome. I used to wonder, do they not see it? I used to ask myself, how can they not see this as a problem? They know. I've already made a video about this, multiple. So according to Deborah, most of all, it looks like a situation where they allegedly extend a helping hand to you, and when you extend your hand in response, it is painfully pricked with a needle. The woman is sure that now a whole "that's why you're not married" brigade will come to her comments, but she decided to express her point of view anyway, because many women are incredibly tired of motherhood. Well, they're tired of our modern version of motherhood, I think. I mean, if every mother was given every resource she needs to be a great mom and had financial support and every advantage at her fingertips, if we lived in that kind of a utopia, maybe we wouldn't have a negative birth rate. Here for it. Stand strong, ladies. Young ladies out there, go live your life. The house is on fire anyway. Just go have fun. Women are incredibly tired of motherhood simply because their husbands do not help them, or they pretend to help, but in fact, they only harm. And I mean, I don't even know that anyone is saying that this is like so much of a conscious thing with these men, because we all learn what marriage and parenthood and things like that are like from watching the adults that we grow up around. Okay, moving on here. Some more quotes. In fact, I could turn this into a series. Oh God, I hope she does. Having a child with a cisgendered heterosexual male sounds terrifying. Even when you think they're helping, they're actually helping you slowly lose your mind. Wow. I really feel that. I feel that so much. And I don't even have kids, but just my experience, which is considerable, of having long-term monogamous partnerships and living together, you don't even have to have kids, and they help you slowly lose your mind. Oh God, I'm so glad I'm over it. I don't even want to call this weaponized incompetence anymore. This is another level. It's like reaching out your hand to help someone and then stinging them with a needle. Very bizarre. Yeah. See, I think there is something to it, that it's like an ingrained misogyny. I mean, we're all swimming around in the patriarchal soup, so how we've all absorbed parts of it. And I'm not saying that gives men a pass, certainly not. But just remember the great saying, men want children the way kids want puppies. And in both cases, the mom, the wife, is the one doing all the work. Experts state that such situations really need a compassionate conversation between the partners. In such cases, of course, partners need to talk about it more and more. Yes. Yes. Talking about it is what changes cultures, is what causes systemic change, is enough people making enough noise about whatever the issue is. In my humble opinion, on my humble channel, in such cases, of course, partners need to talk about it more and more. Laurel Simpson Stewart, a therapist, usually encourages her mom clients with partners to have a compassionate conversation, asking for support in clear ways. Find specific things that you can ask them to take on, says Laurel in an interview for Mother United. Your partner doesn't always know what you want. Yeah, that is true. A lot of times, both men and women expect the other one to know what they're feeling, to be able to stand in their shoes. And not everyone is capable of doing that. Your partner doesn't always know what you want, so naming your need and asking for support with several tasks can help them as much as it will help you. Yeah, at least you state what you need, and then it's up to them whether or not they deliver. Most people in the comments supported the OP, and some of them also shared their own similar stories. We must say that the people in the comments massively supported Rebecca. However, it is worth recognizing that they were mostly women. I would expect them to be. For example, one commenter said that her father still boasts that he never changed a diaper for her or her brother. What an asshole. And some commenters claim that such situations are an extra reason why they do not want children. Yeah, because, I mean, here we are, 2026, and if you were at a barbecue or somewhere and you heard a old guy, grandpa age guy, which could be my age at this point, but if you heard him say, yeah, I'd never change my kids' diapers, I'm a manly man, you wouldn't be shocked, you wouldn't be clutching pearls or anything. It's just still part of the boys will be boys culture, which is coming to an end because you need to make more boys to let boys be boys, and you need girls to make boys, and the girls ain't playing anymore. Cheryl in Portland said, and that was her. Squidward said, this is one of the many factors that contribute to me not wanting children. Liesel, the people judging her for leaving the baby in a safe place to gather herself when overwhelmed are part of the problem. Yes. I mean, in the 80s, when I was 11, 12, 13 years old and was in charge of my 3 younger brothers, of course I'm leaving the baby on the changing table and walking away and doing something. I'm fucking 11, like, nothing terrible happened. To put the baby in their crib, totally fine. Let a mom go gather herself. Let her be a fucking woman for 10 minutes. And for some reason, some of the commenters also criticized Rebecca for simply leaving a crying baby in his crib. Come on. It's not a fucking contest to see who can be the biggest martyr. This woman should be applauded for taking a few minutes for herself, and the husband should be shamed because it's his kid. If the kid is crying, go pick the kid up. Fucking Google it if you don't know what to do. For fuck's sake. I bet he knows how to play all the intricate video games these days. Bet he's really good at that. Or maybe not. That's a stereotype I probably shouldn't use. But hearing her story, crazy unicorn lady, hearing her story made my eyes tear up. I had terrible anxiety with my second, and if my husband had done that, it would have felt so overwhelming. Yeah, she said the baby is 10 months old, so this woman is still healing from the birth. chemically, endocrinologically, gynecologically. I mean, giving birth it's almost unnatural in humans. It's so terrible compared to like every other species. Olivia Hodson just said, "I'm struggling so much." Crabs is a something. I'd give my husband one chance to get it together. If he decides not to, I'm saving my peace and my kids' peace and leaving. Yes. And if women were in charge of the world, there would be low cost, safe, clean, family friendly places for women to go who are planning or trying to leave their husbands. It would be a whole network. It would be free, publicly funded, all the things that the patriarchy hates. Because that's the main reason why people don't leave. My mother didn't leave because she had 3 little kids and actually found a guy who wanted to take care of her and her kids. And then, of course, he wanted one of his own. So then she had 4 little kids. What was she going to do? I mean, it's money. Money keeps people together, men and women. User 78. This is exactly why I'm contemplating ditching the husband and figuring out how to have a baby alone. Beverly I'm sorry, Beverly. Mutizwa. Motherhood is not for everyone. Yeah. Motherhood is not for everyone. And then there's people like me where mothering humans is not for me. But I was born to mama my animals. Every animal I meet is my baby. So what the hell difference does it make? I'm putting nurturing energy out into the world, as are all other or most other child-free women. I don't know. Shut up, Def. What soapbox am I even on right now? Nero Stealth said, "This is one of the things I genuinely fear when I become a mom." Yeah, it's such a common story. It's really depressing that this has become so prevalent. And I am just questioning, given the state of politics in the US in the past decade, has that made this a much bigger problem in the States? I'm just curious if anyone has any opinions on that. In general, parenting issues are always very complex and require a lot of attention. So we always welcome your comments on this story. And then Ahaj Blue said, "Bro." To be honest, one of my friends dead ass left her man with their kid for 2 days because her logic was he need to figure it out. Damn right. It's his child too. I mean, obviously no mother wants to leave her child with a horrible, abusive, monster of a man, and unfortunately so many do, but to leave a child with their own father who is just being a fucking wuss, I mean, literally, Google it. There's got to be 8 million YouTube videos on how you can soothe a baby. And so I think that's another thing that needs to start happening. And in my opinion, in order to get enough generations generated with men and women are equal, different, but equal. And if you choose to have a baby, man and woman will co-parent that baby. Until we have enough people that have had that normalized for them, this is just going to get worse. So I think women with kids and partners who don't help them, do what this. There's a couple of stories where, the woman just handed the baby and took off. Went to a hotel for an afternoon, It doesn't have to be for a long time. I don't know. Wow. Well, that was pretty intense. And that's what I have for you today, guys. I would love to hear your thoughts. I would especially love to hear from you if you are a woman who is happily married, everything's great, you have kids, your husband was or is your equal partner. I would love to hear from you because I know it's not all men. But I don't know if any of you ladies will end up watching this video. But in any case, please do let me know your thoughts. As always, I thank everyone who stops by to hear me talk shit on the internet, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much.